Our queen has an even better story. Mother of dragons, breaker of chains. All that.
Heard you managed to fuck things right into the ground. Captured a castle you couldn't keep. Got yourself taken prisoner. Even heard you have no cock.
There are many things we've never done. We've never made our mark upon the world. The great lords of Westeros pay us no mind.
Harold the Black thought this castle would be his legacy. Greatest fortress ever built. Tallest towers, the strongest walls.
Last I heard, you were gallivanting around the world, having a grand old time.
Gallivanting? That's the sort of thing you start to say once your dick gets chopped off. And I'm going to gallivant right over and give it to Daenerys Targaryen, along with my big cock.
The time has come.
The time for what?
For you to become me.
But... am I ready?
No.
She is a reaver. She is a warrior. She is Ironborn.
For your brother!
My brother's dead.
I can see it now. Yes, it's so clear. Splicing any random images together makes them seem interconnected.
And so our episode begins with a bunch of random images that look cool when you put them together. No, man, they're all connected, dude. There's flying stuff, dead moms, babies, ecto-cooler, being touched by strangers. It's all a theme. Well, my takeaway is that Jaime killed Aerys over the ecto-cooler, which we already knew about from the bath scene, but that it's still under King's Landing and may explode, so watch out, Dragon Attack. There's also this scene with Ned and Lyanna in a bed of blood. Is that a cut? A C-section cut? That's her side, right? It looks weird. Doesn't look right. Anyway, 28 minutes later, the White Walkers have sent a conveniently killable number of zombies, despite having a zombie horde. And in comes Cold Hands, who apparently attended Brienne's school of GPS trackery and last-minute heroing. Where did he learn how to wield a magical fire flail? Is that standard children magic along with the plasma grenades? They so should have won that war against the First Men. Anyway, we meet Cold Hands, whose disguise is about as good as Clark Kent's. So next, Sam, Gilly, and the slowest aging human make it to Horn Hill, which is pretty damn palatial. And we meet Sam's mom and sister, who are amazingly nice despite Lord Tarly being a complete dick. They seem to completely buy that Gilly is not a wildling, despite being dressed in a potato sack. Oh, that's how everyone in the North dresses, right? Well, next we make it to Tommen in the High Septon, and we go back to everyone's favorite room in all of Planetos. I fucking love that room. I can't get enough of it. I hope the whole rest of the series takes place in it. Anyway, Marjorie seems to be playing ball with the High Septon with such incredible insincerity that it's hard to imagine anyone falling for it. And we go back to Horn Hill to find that Gilly cleans up quite nicely, and wow, look at that figure. Considering she only gave birth 9 months ago, she's really gotten herself back into shape. Oh, didn't you know? The Castle Black Day Spa also has Zumba classes. Anyway, we finally meet Randall Tarly, perhaps the greatest general in Westeros, who is sitting at home, not doing much. It's not like any war has been going on. Anyway, the family has a weird discussion about hunting where Sam seems lost. In fact, we had already established in Season 1 that Sam actually knows quite a bit about hunting. One would have to, being the son of Randall Tarly. Anyway, Randall, like everyone else, is amazed that Sam is still fat after 6 years. And Gilly, who had one secret to keep, reveals that she's a wildling. I'm surprised she also didn't tell Randall that she fucked her dad. So despite the dinner going poorly, Sam actually gets everything he wants. He has a safe place for Gilly and the babe to stay while he studies at the Citadel. But then he says fuck it, and he leaves with Gilly and the babe, and steals his family's sword. I cannot see this going over very well. The Lannisters had a whole expedition to Valyria to recover their family sword. You'd think that Randall would be willing to go to Old Town and beat the shit out of Sam. Meanwhile in Bravos, Arya is busy laughing at the death of fake Joffrey, and is moved by the performance of fake Cersei. This is a bit of a contradiction. She laughs at fake Joffrey and is uncomfortable around the fake head of her father. But she sees fake Cersei as Lady Crane, even though Lady Crane is supposed to be the best actress. I guess it's all supposed to show the conflicted nature of Arya. I do wonder if and when Arya returns, and perhaps faces real Cersei, if Lady Crane's performance will affect her. Anyway, Arya had essentially decided that Lady Crane was a decent person because she was a good actress and willing to sleep with a dwarf, but still must die. But after Lady Crane tells Arya about her poor background and how she used to sneak into plays and compliments Arya on her eyebrows, Arya changes her mind. Weirdly, we get this extra scene where the playwright goes off on how everyone criticizes his work, but really they have no right because he's been doing this for a long time. I guess D&D are making some sort of fun, ironic statement about their lives here. I guess. Anyway, the waif is there to see Arya fail and gets permission to take her out. And then Arya goes back and gets Needle, which is amazingly still there. I'm very surprised that some bored kid didn't find it. She then doesn't go back to the House of Black and White. I do have to say that both Arya and the House have invested a lot of time in each other, only to have this venture fail. The House sailed Arya over, fed and clothed her, trained her, and even had a faceless man kill himself over her mistake. And all they got out of it were a couple of botched assassinations. This must have been very embarrassing for the faceless men. Meanwhile, Arya sailed to Bravos and spent a good 2 years washing bodies and walking around blind. She got some training with fighting and some training with lying, but essentially she's wasted her time here. Meanwhile, back in King's Landing, we all get pumped because something's about to go down. Mace the Ace has suited up, and he has teamed up with Golden Boy. It's time to face off against the High Sparrow, and we know shit is serious because the QOT has shown up. You do not want to see her finishing move. Jaime tells the High Sparrow, hand over Marjorie Tyrell and Loras Tyrell, or suffer the consequences. But then, anticlimactically, the king has been converted. I guess there was no behind-the-scenes scheming. The only thing the High Sparrow told Tommen about was the Walk of Shame, and the only thing Tommen told Cersei about was the Walk of Shame. And then Cersei was honest about it being a Walk of Shame. Damn, I miss scheming. Where's Varys and Littlefinger? The QOT says they're beat, but really, they probably should have had their army just kill the Kingsguard and take control of the king. The whole debacle has Jaime getting dismissed from the Kingsguard. Get back on your book plot, Jaime. Back on your book plot. Meanwhile, back in the Riverlands, Walder Frey is upset because his sons have told him that Riverrun has been conquered. The Mallisters and the Blackwoods have allowed the Blackfish to retake Riverrun. And Walder wants Riverrun back because in his dreams everyone's laughing at him. Of course, with the Three-Eyed Crow dead, I wonder who's sending those visions. Lucky for Walder, he has a hostage, Edmure Tully. Unlucky for Edmure, his uncle Brynden is a dick. Meanwhile, back in King's Landing, Cersei assures Jaime that she'll be fine without his presence. The Mountain will kick some serious ass. Now these two have had a really bad 2 years, but they still have their sex life. So I guess that's something? Meanwhile, north of the Wall, Cold Hands is preparing dinner and reveals he's actually Superman. No shit. Anyway, this is kind of interesting because we know in the books that Benjen is not Cold Hands. Weirdly, Benjen claims he was called in to help by the Three-Eyed Raven. Not sure why he wasn't brought in before. He also seems to know about Bran's dreams. It all makes me wonder if Benjen is not actually Benjen, but animated by the children. I do have to say it's rather lucky for Bran that Benjen came along. Well, of course, they were about to be killed by zombies. No, I mean to help him, poo. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Well, Bran is paralyzed from the waist down. Well, yes, I don't follow. Well, that means his bowels and sphincter don't likely work. That means his poo has to be manually scooped out of his colon every once in a while. Oh, I guess so, but so what? Well, I imagine before Hodor was doing this, but without Hodor, Mira would have likely had to take on the job. Now Benjen is here to do that, avoiding all the embarrassment for Bran. Do you think that's why they call him Cold Hands? Well, no actually, he wouldn't be able to feel the cold down there. Meanwhile, off in the Dothraki Sea, Daario and Dany wonder how they're going to bring this many people to Westeros. They are going to need an Ironborn level of ships. Well, I'm sure Dany will stumble into finding ships just like she stumbles into finding a curling iron wherever she goes. Remember, this was her hair first season, and this is her hair now. Anyway, Dany senses something, so she goes behind a rock and finds Drogon. Where were you 2 weeks ago, asshole, when people were threatening to kill me? I literally was almost raped 100 times because you abandoned me. And so Dany decides to re-rally the troops, asking them if they will follow her. And they must have been really confused because they agreed to that 2 weeks ago. I do feel bad for Aggo and Kovaro, her two co's. They've been with Dany for 5 years, and all of these nameless assholes just got promoted to their positions. And this after they were passed up for the Dany search and rescue mission. I would be pissed. And that's all for this episode. See you in a couple days for the serious Q&A. Put your questions below with Q&A : and I will scoop out the contents.